Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. We are back.
We are back, baby.
Wow. I didn't think it would happen. People didn't think it would happen. People thought this was a break. They thought this was like when there have been breaks in the past, famous breaks. Nothing comes to mind off the top. Like when the Beatles broke up.
That's right.
We're several metric tons of dirt beneath the Beatles.
Sure, but nevertheless, Lorne Michaels proposed that we reunite live on the air for like $100 or whatever it was, and here we are. Unlike John and Paul, we showed up.
Brian has returned from his vision quest.
Yes. I was just saying to Zachy off the air, I really feel like I just came back from another planet. And the reason being, I was just with my fiance, I was in Paris, France for about a week and a half. And then after that, we spent a week in New York. So, I haven't really watched a lot of things. I barely followed the news on my phone. I was in a place for a while where, most people didn't speak English. And, so I was trying to keep up a little bit and learn some French. And it was just, I really feel like I was somewhere else.
But that's enough about New York. What was Paris like?
Yeah. No, but you know what? I say that like it sounds like dizzying, and in some ways it was, but it was just wonderful. Just an absolute, almost 3/4 of a month away, and it was just the most amazing escape. And honestly, it was a trip that could have only happened the way that it did in this moment also, which makes me thankful for, remote work, the way that is still happening in my life, because and adding to the slightly disorienting part of it, being over in Paris, it wasn't just visiting the city, which we did. One day we walked 15 miles and saw so many things. I had to look at the pictures to remember all of it. But I was also visiting Federica's family, aunts, uncles, cousins, her grandfather for the first time. So there's also that. That itself would be its own sort of trip with a lot of emotions and, sort of pressures and whatnot. But on top of that, I worked almost full time the whole time I was there. So because of the time difference, I would wake up at around 7 a.m. and then I would work till 10 or something. Go do our day, like I say, like walk at least every day at minimum. It was like 10 miles. Walk around, see some things, meet people, have lunches and dinners. And then we would come back and it would be like 9 at night or 10 at night. And then I'd work till like 1 or something. And then I'd go to sleep and then do it again the next day. And it sounds exhausting, but it was this crazy tightrope that worked. And I was turning everything in. I was soaking in everything that was happening and enjoying everyone I was meeting. And it was a dream. It couldn't have gone better. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had fun, but not gonna lie, I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah, no, me too. And it was funny because you and I talked. It was like maybe we'll be able to see Batman over in France, and there was a part of me that realized like it was so tight it probably wasn't going to happen. But I was a little curious just to, I don't know, go see a movie and with subtitles on the bottom and just see how different audiences react. And actually, all the cousins we talked to, or not all of them, but several of them were like, "Hey, we're thinking about seeing Batman." They're like, "Oh, we saw it." I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, it was a wild ride. And I'm still kind of at the tail end of it. We just flew back in and then went and saw Batman. It was like first order of business. Saw Batman last night, and here I am. So I still feel a little like woo.
Well, that was when we got on the mic. That was the first thing I was like, "So you did see the Batman, right?"
Yes.
Because otherwise, I'm hanging up.
Yeah, I was saying if I said, "I'm so sorry," funny story, like I would just hear your microphone boom, 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 boom onto the ground. Your footsteps walk out, your door shut, and I'd run to Federica and be like, "Honey, we need to pack.
we got 8 hours.
We got 8 hours." But I have a feeling he's driving fast.
Dude, what's funny is I had already seen it when we
Yes.
did our Dark Knight Rises commentary track.
Mm.
So I've had to sit with it longer.
Oh man, and I'm so excited to talk about it. It's making me feel bad. You had to sit on it for so long.
Well, I mean, this is the show, right? Because I was having a conversation on Twitter where I was like, I'm just kind of I'm gonna wait to talk about it with Brian. It's like, oh, it's great that you're waiting. Most people would just want to drop a recording right away, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't think anybody wants to hear like what I alone have to say. Like the show is us. It's the two of us.
I know I am looking forward to this discussion between you and I, but it was occurring to me even just before you brought that up that I don't know what you thought of it. Like I'm really impressed with us sometimes that we're able to keep these things from one another, because I saw it last night with Federica and my good friend Chad, and when it was over, he goes, "Oh, what did Zachy think?" And I was like, "I have no idea." It's like amazing. I don't know. So,
well, we will get to the Batman in due time. But what else have you seen in the meantime?
Yeah, I saw the only thing we watched in France was one night. It was kind of late, and we had the iPad, and I just thought it was worth mentioning because this is the perfect. It's like 10 p.m. I want to watch something kind of light and fun, and we watched Murderville.
Okay.
Which is on Netflix, and it has this premise. I think it's a remake of a show, like a UK show, but basically Will Arnett plays this detective, and there's a murder, and it's shot like a television show, but there's always a guest, and the guest has no idea what's going on. Like they're improvising their way through the whole show while all these other actors create a reality for them. And so, for example, and Will Arnett's hilarious because he's the lead detective. He's a really great improviser. And then Conan O'Brien will just be sort of forced into the room. And they're like, all right, Conan, here's what we got. This guy, we found him in an ice cream truck dead, and Conan's like, okay. And so it's like he's sort of improvising with all the other people in this world, but he's also taking notes and having to keep track of clues and things that they're presenting to him. And by the end of the show, the guest has to solve the murder. And so it's almost like an elaborate, funny escape room with, you're watching talented, funny improvisers go through this crazy escape room experience. Mm-hmm. And have you seen it?
I have not.
It's just I think we watched the whole series. It's like 6 of them. We watched the whole thing in one night. Yeah, it's just a real easy blast. It's some of them, they all have different energies. Conan, I thought, was probably the best because he's a master improviser. But Annie Murphy, from Schitt's Creek was on it, and she reminded me of probably what I would be like, where I'd be a little. She seemed really focused on okay, I have to solve this, and she was really paying attention and not interacting with a lot of people. And Sharon Stone seemed like she kind of came in I'm going to be the hard nosed person, but realized she had to pay attention, and she kind of dropped the act a little bit. And yeah, Kumail Nanjiani's in it. Marshawn Lynch was really good. Just an easy, fun time on Netflix. So I thought it was worth mentioning.
Very cool.
On the airplane, I watched King Richard. About Venus and Serena Williams with Will Smith playing the father, and kind of the way that he pushed the girls as kids to become these tennis icons. And have you seen it?
I did. I like this one.
I did too. I wouldn't say it's the same as. Wait, did we talk about Elvis yet?
The trailer for
the Baz Luhrmann trailer.
We have not talked about it.
So I think we mentioned this a lot, but Walk Hard has just absolutely befouled any future musical biopic.
Right.
It literally, and by the way, I like Baz Luhrmann, and I am looking forward to this Elvis movie, but there's a scene, where this audience sort of skeptical, and then he starts waving his hips, and these girls all start eyes rolling in the back
of their heads.
Yeah, and that is literally a scene in Dewey Cox, right?
Right.
So likewise with sports films, there's a formula at play.
There's a template.
There's a template, but it always works, and I thought this one, it disguised the template a little better than some others do.
I agree.
and maybe it has to do with following sort of the coach figure versus the actual athlete, even though you do follow the girls. But I don't know. It was really rousing. It made me feel really great. You know, it was really inspiring.
I mean, it's a cliche, but it knows the assignment.
It knows the assignment, and it's one of those things that I love. Books, you know, where you read like about Steve Jobs or these films you watch, and you know the outcome already. You know they changed the world, but
Right.
when you see the difficult decisions that they've made along the way, and something's presented to them and they could go this way or that way and they choose the hard way, and you're like, are you out of your mind? Like in that moment you'd be like, really, you're gonna do this or not do that? And you're sort of like, wow, it makes you think like, I would like to think I'm that person, that I would stick by like, no, this is what I believe, and maybe it'll be more challenging, but it'll ultimately be more satisfying. So yeah, I think it's totally worth checking out. I don't know if it's back on HBO Max, but I know it was there for the whole Warner Brothers thing last year.
That's right. And Will Smith, very well deserved nomination in my opinion.
Dude, Will Smith's just freaking Will Smith, man. Like he's just, if there's ever a guy that had it, like that guy's got it.
Yeah, you're so true.
And then I wasn't gonna mention this, but on the way back, now I'm realizing I watched like a Will Smith marathon. I watched Ali also, which I'd never seen. The Michael Mann,
never seen it.
Muhammad Ali.
What'd you think of that?
I liked it. I know people were kind of middling on it.
Yeah.
And I understand why. I think it feels, it does not hold your hand. Like it races through time, and all of a sudden he'll be married to someone. I'm like, wait, what happened to the last woman? And it's just like, oh no, they're not together anymore. And like, it's almost like you're what is that, Slaughterhouse 5 or whatever. You're like unstuck through time. This
is the first time anyone has compared Ali to Slaughterhouse 5.
But it feels like
Kurt Vonnegut novel,
Yeah, it feels like a linear, unstuck in time journey through Ali's life, and so I wouldn't have minded a little bit more getting in his head. Sort of like the hungry Ali and like what motivated him. But I also really enjoyed watching all the sort of, key moments in his life, and him, having to contend with the draft, and, just all that stuff was very interesting.
I think my issue with that movie, I think the performance is better than the movie.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And I think the problem is the further away we get from Muhammad Ali being a presence, the less connection we have to the story as depicted in the film.
Yeah. Like I don't feel like I learned a lot about him.
Exactly.
But it's a dramatization of a bunch of interesting events that occurred to him, and they were interesting. But
Correct.
I didn't feel maybe emotionally gripped by it.
Like to me, it's not a document that you can show somebody and be like, this is who Muhammad Ali was.
Yes.
And I think that is a flaw in the film,
Yeah.
Whereas like the Jackie Robinson movie with Chadwick Boseman, like you show that to somebody like, this is who he was.
Right.
And they'll get it,
Totally.
But even still, like, I think it's worth watching because of Will Smith's performance.
Totally. I totally agree. Like I thought it was worth it for sure. But like that's a perfect way of putting it. Like I don't feel like I understood Muhammad Ali any better because of it. But and it's just Michael Mann. There's something to his sort of precise filmmaking that just soothes my sensibilities, I guess. But yeah, so that was good. Oh, and then I watched in New York, I watched Good Time, which is the Safdie brothers.
Are you getting ready for the Batman by watching Good Time?
Yeah, well, I don't remember why I even that must be why, because I think Matt Reeves has said watching Good Time is what made him think, oh, well, Robert Pattinson could be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And I liked Uncut Gems. I liked Uncut Gems a lot. And so I'd been meaning to check out their earlier work, the brothers. And have you seen Good Time?
This one I have not seen.
Oh, man. These guys just like are masters of stress.
That's so well said. Yeah.
Right. And basically, it's about this guy, Robert Pattinson, and he has this brother that has been injured. And so he's mentally a little slower now. And he wants to take him out of this facility. And so they need this money. And they do this bank robbery, and everything goes wrong. And then he's trying to evade the police and protect the brother. And it's just crazy. I mean, I don't think this is going to be for everyone because it's kind of harsh, and it's, like I say, it's very stressful. But man, these guys, like, I don't know, I like the tales that they whip up and like how they can make me feel. And when it was over, actually, Federica was out, and then she came back, and I was kind of in a mood. I was like, I don't know, man, this movie put me in a mood, but I'm impressed, you know. So yeah, I mean, Robert Pattinson, I saw this before Batman, obviously, because I saw it last night. But man, he's great. I mean, he's really talented, and I liked him a lot in this. And I'd recommend it to anyone who saw Uncut Gems and kind of wanted more of that.
Nice.
Yeah, and then lastly, I saw this movie. Okay, so I mentioned from time to time, I listen to the Slash Filmcast, and they were talking about this movie called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. And I was like, I probably won't watch this, but I'll just listen, to what they say about it. And then they kept stressing, like, don't like read about it, just watch it. Like, and one of them was like, this is probably going to be my favorite movie of the year. And they're like, it's about time travel. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pause it right here. This sounds like something I'm going to love. And so I won't get super into it, but I will say, this is a really interesting movie. What it is it's a Japanese film, so there's subtitles. It's very lo-fi. It was made literally on an iPhone during the pandemic.
Wow.
And what it is this guy realizes this is so good. This guy sees this television, and a computer in his bedroom. He can see himself 2 minutes in the future, and the link that his future self is talking to is in a television in the restaurant downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So his future self starts talking to him, and he goes, what? And then he's like, yeah. You come down here. So then the camera follows him downstairs into the restaurant. He looks into the television, and then he sees his past self that we just saw from the other perspective. And he has the same conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, these people start walking in and realizing what's happening. And like, wait. Like, maybe we can figure out, with scratch tickets, which one we should scratch. Let's tell ourselves. And so then they're like, wait, should I ask out this girl? Like, will she say yes? And then they'll see on the other end, like, she says yes. And he's like, ah. So it's like, and he goes and I was like, this is really cute. It's only 70 minutes long.
Okay.
And it started to get, for the first 20 minutes, I was very amused. Like, I mean, I was like clapping and laughing. It was so funny. And then I was like, okay, but if they're just going to keep repeating this, I don't know if I can sustain the whole viewing time of this. And then they start throwing in these little wrenches, and things start getting kind of hairy, and they start seeing things that confuse them. And you're like, wait, that's going to happen in 2 minutes? Dude, this movie is fantastic. It is like, that math equation that Good Will Hunting solves on the board that no one can solve? That's right. The script.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how they did this. And like I say, it's supposed to, I know there are cuts, obviously, but like, it's supposed to be one continuous take. And all these people keep getting added. It's sort of like Memento, I would say. Like, if Memento was your jam, I think you're really, really going to love this. If Memento is not your jam, you might get a headache and turn it off. But when it was over, I felt like standing up and clapping.
Really?
This is not only incredibly entertaining. No. Okay. It's not only impressive, it's entertaining. And by the end, it actually has something to say. And I was just in awe of this. I feel like I wish this had screened in a theater, and these filmmakers could see a whole audience rip into applause for them because they earned it. I mean, this movie is so good. I'm looking at it now on IMDb. It's only an hour and 10 minutes. And if that sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend it. I watched it on Amazon Prime. You can buy it or rent it. Yeah, if you check it out, I would love to talk to you about it.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I even think your kids might kind of enjoy it too. It's just like a sit back and cackle at the genius.
Yeah.
and fun. The fun of it. It's so like you can tell they're having fun. I'm just so impressed. I'm so impressed with this movie. So
In that vein, Brian, there's a short film on YouTube that you might enjoy. I mean, it's like a 5-minute thing. It's called 1 Minute Time Machine.
Oh, okay. I'm actually writing it down right now.
And just check it out. It's
Okay.
like a 5-minute short film, and it's a fun little in the vein of what you're saying, but
Mhm.
probably not as expansive, obviously. To whatever extent 70 minutes is expansive, but
Sure. Right. But yeah,
But,
beyond the infinite 2 minutes. If
Beyond the
anyone's
Infinite 2
interested.
Minutes is that movie, and 1 Minute Time Machine is the one that I was describing. Actually, speaking of time travel, I just saw a movie last night, Brian.
Oh,
It is called The Atom Project.
I've been wanting to see this.
So this is a Netflix original.
Mhm.
It reteams Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds after Free Guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a perfect family movie night pick, I think.
Right. It feels like they're sort of projecting Amblin-y vibes.
Oh, very much so. I mean, I was thinking of you for a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, you got some heavy Flight of the Navigator energy there.
Really?
Little bits that would make you say, "Oh yeah, I can see a little bit of
vibes
that,
for sure."
Vibes. There you go. But it's I watched a video. I sent it to you. It was like a 4-minute thing that somebody cut together of stuff from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's just clips of movies and television shows and musicians, and it's cut to Waiting for a Falling Star. And I said to you, I was like, this is like 4.5 minutes of just like warm and fuzzy feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And watching that thing, I was like, it feels like the 80s is the last time where you had like original stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even, I might even go so far as the 90s, but
I go into the 90s. Yeah.
I would say I consider myself sort of an 80s/90s kid, even though I'm technically an 80s kid.
Yeah.
Because I think we talked about this several episodes ago. I was watching, I don't know, like The Rock or something.
That's right.
And I was like, this is a completely original story. And I feel like less and less we're getting those truly blockbuster original stories.
Just like something brand new, right?
Yeah.
And it's like now everything is either a reboot or a sequel or a regurgitation of something we've seen before.
A regurgitation, yes.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm not saying the Atom Project is staggeringly original.
Sure. It's
very much not. I mean, it's very much a consortium of parts taken from our sort of vestigial memories. But I appreciated that it's a new world that it created.
Sean Levy keeps getting to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, with Free Guy and this and
Real Steel.
Yeah.
Right?
I like him. He feels almost like this is funny because I know this isn't like technically a household name, but he feels like the next Chris Columbus.
Yeah, no, that's very apt. And it's funny? People who hear that are going to take it one of two ways.
Yes. I'm not saying I like all of Chris Columbus's stuff, but I definitely admire the guy.
People are going to be like, yeah. People are going to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
it's that.
Even thinking back to, I'm including all of it. I mean, he wrote Gremlins, he wrote Goonies. He's pretty. I don't think he gets all the
America. That's pretty huge.
He discovered America.
He stole America from the Native Americans, but it's okay because he did Home Alone.
That's
the scales balance out,
right?
I totally agree with you. Sean Levy, kind of that same energy, right? And so with the Atom Project, you've got Ryan Reynolds is from the year 2050, and he is flung back in time to the year 2022, where he meets himself at age 12.
Yikes! And that's weird to think a 12-year-old will be Ryan Reynolds' age in 2050.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
And then they have to go back in time to 2018.
Okay.
To stop time travel from being invented.
I mean, come on. Right?
Right?
Yeah.
it's totally, it's one of those things where when you watch it as an adult, a lot of the beats are,
Yes.
you can sort of you can do movie math and sort of figure it out.
Sure.
But I was watching it with the kids, and they were like, for them it's brand new,
Yes.
and that's what made it fun for me.
Yeah, and I we've spoken to this before, but I feel like we grew up in an era that really catered to us. I mean, when you speak of the 80s movies earlier, like Flight of the Navigator, E.T., E.T. could be sort of for everybody, but like, I don't know, like, they made so many movies aimed at us. And I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, Batman, honestly, I was like, I don't think this is for kids. You know what I mean? But like when I was growing up, like the 89 Batman was like, yeah, it's like a little edgy, but like, you're going to love it, kid. Like kind of an energy. And so I sort of, not having kids myself, but I still sort of lament that I don't feel like there are enough movies aimed at 12-year-olds. Like we were almost spoiled. We had so many aimed at us, and
that's so true. It really is.
Like, I mean, you think too of, and there's this weird sort of thing happening also where when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, like my parents didn't care, but they took me, and I loved it, and I still love it to this day. But now you make a Ninja Turtles movie, and it's like they have to sort of please 12-year-olds, but they've also got to please 35-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like they have a bigger task at hand.
Right, and that right there, the latter portion of what you just described, that's the essential problem, at least in my opinion. Like, I think that when adults go into like a Ninja Turtles movie and say, "How come this isn't appealing to me?" That's the flaw.
Sure,
and that's how you get like the Michael Bay 2014 movie.
Right, and speaking of Adam Project, I mean, I've heard some people, to steal your word from earlier, like, sort of just call it like a mass regurgitation and, like say like, oh, it wasn't for me. And I'm like, yeah, I really don't think it is. You know what I mean? Like, right. I would agree. I think it's for your kids.
But
I want the kid there's still a kid at heart in me. And I think that I could delight in it knowing what I'm watching. Right.
That's exactly it. Like, because I was watching my kids' reactions to it. Right. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is obviously Ryan Reynolds, and he's incredibly charming. And he has a funny line where he's been shot, like when he's first introduced to his younger self. And he's like, "Oh, the bullet is causing me pain," or whatever he says. And his younger self is like, "A bullet? Somebody shot you?" He's like, "No, somebody stabbed me with a bullet, moron." Right. Yes, of course somebody shot me. And he says it in that Ryan Reynolds way,
Right.
But I mean, he's just if you have watched Free Guy, this is going to be in that vein, and to whatever extent, it's almost like a franchise.
Right.
It's the Sean Levy Ryan Reynolds franchise.
Right.
And I was thinking that, like, remember when we talked about Free Guy, that movie comes to a stop.
Yes.
It comes to a conclusion, and yet what we heard is like they're already starting to develop a sequel.
Sure.
It's like, why? Just let it end. And just do something else. Do something different,
Right. And sort of like, I don't know what made me think of this, but like A Fish Called Wanda, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loved
right.
it, but then instead of making a sequel, they just brought the whole cast and crew, the filmmakers back.
What was it?
Maybe this is...
Was it Heavenly Creatures?
That feels right. Yeah. So it's like, let's bring that energy back, but we don't have to continue that story. So yeah, it feels similar what you're saying.
I just want to make sure it is, in fact. No, Heavenly Creatures is a Peter Jackson movie, so it's not that.
Oh, wow. Okay. That felt... But I feel like it is something about animals or...
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to look it up, otherwise people are going to be yelling at the...
That would be funny. Then people are sort of like, oh, Heavenly Creatures. I want to see another Fish Called Wanda energy movie.
Oh my God! It's, oh man.
Something about a zoo or...
Yeah, oh my God, this is going to bother me so much. Hold on, we're in real time. We're Googling it. Hold on. It's Fierce Creatures. I was so close.
Creatures. That's very...
Fierce Creatures.
You deserve the star anyway.
I was 50% right.
Yeah.
So that's the Adam Project. Ryan Reynolds is great. Mark Ruffalo is fantastic.
Wait, did people know? Did they know all along?
As far as what?
You know, Mark Ruffalo, isn't that your sort of shtick?
They knew, kinda. He's, I was actually I had another thought as I was watching this, because like people get upset at the Marvel film sort of sucking up all the oxygen, right?
Mhm.
And no doubt that's a valid critique.
Mhm.
However, the other thing I was thinking about is, like, with this, I'm watching this, and the boys are like, my 10-year-old, he's like, oh, Mark Ruffalo,
Right.
right? And I was thinking, like those movies are what are allowing these actors to be exposed to that generation.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, because I remember when I was watching The Five Bloods a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and same thing. Oh, Chadwick Boseman, and now they sit down and
Right.
watch, right? So potentially, that universe is a gateway into the other projects that they do, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
And so you can see the appeal for these performers above and beyond the paychecks, which I'm sure are fine.
absolutely. Yeah.
There's also that. So I watch it with a specific mindset, and I don't think you'll come away disappointed.
Yeah, that's probably the next thing we'll watch, I imagine. So cool.
And Sean Levy, by the way, is doing Deadpool 3.
Yeah, which is a little, it doesn't seem like his oeuvre per se, like the sort of violent, profane kind of thing. But
wondering what that looks like. Right?
I mean, clearly him and Reynolds have hit it off. So
it feels like what used to be Adam McKay and Will Ferrell.
Right. Yeah.
Before that breakup.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And speaking of movies that you should watch with the mindset of a kid, I also saw the movie X.
X.
Yeah, actually, do not at all.
It's funny. I was thinking of Project X.
Yeah,
a movie from several years ago, and then actually, there's two Project.
There's two Project X's.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of the one with the monkey.
Well, actually, I was thinking of the party one first, but yes, the one with Matthew Broderick and the monkey.
Monkey, right? No, definitely do not watch X.
Right. Yes, I'm now with you.
This is the new horror movie directed by Ty West.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this X?
Honestly, I kind of had, and then I saw you posted a review.
Yes,
and so that's really how I became aware of it. So
okay. Yeah, so I mean, anybody who listens to this show or has for a lengthy amount of time knows we don't generally talk about horror on this podcast, because that's not generally in a genre that either of us has a huge affinity for.
Yeah, occasionally, but by and large, not really.
Yeah, and so I always welcome an opportunity to watch and review horror films.
Mm-hmm.
Because I enjoy going outside of my general areas of whatever, and so for this one, the paper said, "Oh, can you check this out?" I was like, "Yeah, of course," and I'll tell you, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I saw. So I'm very curious to hear what about it. I don't know, found different than what you don't like from other horror movies.
Well, it's just because I don't watch a lot of horror movies, I can still appreciate when one is done well. And I think there's there's plenty of ones that are not great. Like, a couple of years ago, I watched the movie Countdown, which is about like a killer app on a phone.
Oh. Right.
And it was just goddamn awful.
Right.
But with this, it's set in the 70s.
Yes, right.
And it's kind of this. It's an exploitation movie that's made to look like an exploitation movie. It's about this group of would-be pornographers who rent this rickety old farmhouse in the sticks to film their pornography. Brian, the pornography. You understand?
I see.
Yeah, and then a bunch of killings start happening.
Okay.
That's all I really am going to say, because I think that if you're going to watch this, you should kind of be surprised by it. But I mean, again, it's one of those things where I'll be very honest. When I watch a movie like this, I'm doing the thing where I'm like squinting my eyes or I'm looking away, because I just don't like watching people getting murdered.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows this show knows that that's just how I am. But you can still appreciate the craft, and do they build the tone well, and does the suspense work, and is there something happening
Exactly. Yeah. What's the
beyond?
story? What's the story?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is there something here that's and it's specifically, how is it going to play for the genre audience?
Mm.
Right. That's like, I just by way of contrast, this happened last week, and while you were off traveling, this is like a little mini firestorm that was consuming Twitter briefly, where you had a critic who reviewed the film Turning Red.
Oh, I've heard discussion on this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did not read the review, but I saw sort of what happened.
And so it managed to leave the Twitter bubble, in other words.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there was a critic who wrote a review, and essentially, he said, this is in reference to Turning Red, like, Pixar movies tend to be aimed at all kinds of different audience. This one isn't aimed at me, and I found it exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the gist of what this person said. And I read that review, and I was sort of fascinated by that, because I was like, man, talk about a privileged perspective to come from.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, oh, well, I don't see myself in this. I'm like, yeah, hey, I'm a brown Muslim guy. Welcome to my world, like, forever.
Right.
This is what we do, right?
Well, then it's almost like, do you watch movies?
That's the thing, right? I was like, it's, and so my point is just to draw, and by the way, this guy, I mean, he got raked over the coals. I mean, LeVar Burton
really
bad on him. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine waking up in the morning and you get on Twitter and LeVar Burton's calling you a piece of shit.
That's not a world I want to live in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they say on Twitter every day there's a main character. You've heard this, right?
Oh, I literally just heard this. No joke. I was catching up on podcasts the other day, and someone saying, yeah, on Twitter, you never want to be the main character.
You never want to be the main character. I was like, this poor guy. And I know who he is, in that, I mean, I'm acquainted with him, right?
Yeah.
So this is not an abstract thing. I sort of saw this happen in real time as it blew up.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of those things where my point is, you review a film not solely based on your own, presumptions and whatever. You base it on, well, how is it going to play for the audience it's aimed at?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just as much, right? I mean, you have to weave that in. So I can't look at a horror movie and be like, well, I don't like horror movies, so
yeah.
This is, this isn't for me. Well, no, I don't generally watch horror movies, but I'm spending the time. What is the filmmaker trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Are they successful at it? And I think to whatever extent this movie, I mean, the inspirations are clear, right? Just as much as like the Atom Project is inspired by that Amblin era, this is inspired by 1970s, Texas Chainsaw Massacre style horror.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been so many attempts to emulate Texas Chainsaw, including like the newest Texas Chainsaw, which dropped like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I think this is like the first heir to that movie I've seen. Really? Where it gets that feeling of just paranoia and like what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
The actors are, well, it has Jenna Ortega, who was just in Scream. Yes,
who I really liked in Scream.
Yeah, and she's good in this. And Mia Goth, who plays the main character, and she has like a dual role, and she was great in this.
A dual role?
Yeah. And I'm not going to say what that dual role is, because I think it's fun to discover.
Okay.
But they shot a prequel to this movie at the same time they shot this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was like, well, it was during COVID. We got the location. Let's,
right. We're all tested. Let's go.
Let's use every part of the buffalo.
Yep. Yeah.
And so when I before I saw the movie, I had heard about the prequel, and I was like, oh, okay. And then after I see the movie and they show like a trailer for the prequel,
okay,
I was like, I would want to see that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Having seen the film.
They sort of Back to the Future 3 it, like a little teaser, or 2, I should say, at the end.
Yeah. So it's gory for sure. So know that, to anybody listening. So if that's what you're looking for, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does a nice job of building up the mood
Sure.
and building up to it. And there is a point there which I appreciate. Like it kind of wraps together in a way where at the end you're like, oh, like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I appreciated it for that.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to be for everybody, but you know who else is in it? Brittany Snow. Remember she was in like John Tucker Must Die, and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Pitch
she was,
Perfect.
you know, what's that?
Like Pitch Perfect movies, I think.
I think she's in those, right?
Yeah, I think.
But now she's like the older, like kind of, slightly over the hill performer. Yeah. She's like 35 or whatever.
Right.
You know, so I did enjoy that. That's my point.
Wow. Okay. What a surprise.
There you go. Twist ending.
Yeah.
But give me a good horror movie, I will appreciate it. So this one worked out in that regard.
Yeah. Nice.
There is a scene in the film where you see a character walking, and as they're walking towards the camera, right in the foreground, you have a like a plank of wood with a nail just sticking right up. So you have this character walking inexorably towards this thing, and that's one of those things where I like shifted my focus in my eyes.
Right.
I did like the rack focus.
Right.
I'm like, nope, don't need to see it. Ah! Okay, there it is.
Isn't it funny that made you do that? And yet when we watch Home Alone and Daniel Stern is about to step on the nail on the stairs, you start clapping with glee.
That is, well, you know what that says to me? It's kind of like, it's like RoboCop, the original RoboCop.
Yeah.
How, remember it was originally rated X, and then they had to trim some of the violence to get the R. And yet when you watch, like, the version that's out there now is the quote unquote X-rated version.
Mm-hmm.
And the violence is so over the top.
Right.
Where it sort of becomes funny.
Right.
You know? Whereas just trimming a little bit of it makes it more real.
Yeah.
So I think it's weird how we kind of, it's like the uncanny valley of gore.
That's really interesting. You say it that way. Yeah. Just the little trims make it more real. That's really interesting.
You know, because the idea of somebody walking and barefoot, like when it's presented a certain way, having the nail through the foot, you present it one way and it's like, oh, that's hilarious, and then the other way, you're like, oh no, that's goddamn horrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, let's take a short break. We'll come back and talk. Hey, we got the trailer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. And we are back. And hey, Brian, you know who else is back?
Who's that?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think you mean old Ben Kenobi.
I think they might be the same guy.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, you know, now that I think about it.
So Ewan McGregor, after much, will he, won't he, teetering on the edge, it's official. We have the footage, Brian. It exists.
I can't believe this exists. This could have been like an event movie.
Yes.
You know, and so I think with that in mind,
dare I say, Brian, had Solo not flamed out rather spectacularly, it would have been a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I understand there is probably a lot of thinking going on at Lucasfilm, you know, about what they want to do next and, you know, how they present it and whatnot. But I mean, I feel like if you had made this as a movie and put it out in December, I mean, it would have been a slam dunk, you know, especially because you're bringing back the theatrical Obi-Wan Kenobi as we know him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with that in mind, I've got a lot of high hopes riding on this show, right? I don't know. What about you?
So obviously you got Ewan back.
Mm-hmm.
That's half the battle right there. Right?
100%. Yeah.
Right. And didn't I read that John Williams is doing like
Yes.
the theme? He is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't imagine that.
No. No, because that was another thing too I mentioned. It took me a minute to adjust to the new style of score because to me, Star Wars is John Williams.
Right.
And so this sort of more sparse, twangy sort of thing took me a minute to get used to. And I even wondered if some of the action might have felt even bigger with like more of a John Williams sort of score.
Yeah.
But I've gotten used to it. I'm like, that's what that is. And that's how I grow. I let things marinate and then I go, oh, okay, now I get it. And so, but I've got to admit, again, these are directly connected to films that sound a certain way. And I've got to admit that I really hope they sound of a piece to those things. So knowing that John Williams is writing the score, I'm hoping then that the score of this show will sort of resemble that sound personally.
Well, and just based on the trailer, which we're not going to bother playing the audio because it's so disconnected from everything. I'm not sure it would do much, but we hear Duel of the Fates.
Yes,
we hear I think it's Anakin's betrayal, and we hear Battle of the Heroes.
Yeah,
and I was thinking, first of all, like those are all great pieces of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking how the Disney era has pretty much up to this point avoided all like prequel callbacks.
Yeah.
Or if they've done it, it's been very, very subtle,
Right.
And why? Because I mean, when JJ came in, that was like the mission statement. We want it to be like the Star Wars people liked, not the one that nobody did, right? And then you realize, well, no, I mean, there's all these people who really do like the prequels, and this is speaking to them in such a profound way. That's been really fun to see for me.
Yeah,
is like certainly on Twitter, people are reacting to Ewan McGregor coming back like we did to Harrison Ford coming back, and that wasn't that long ago. Except it kind of was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right, like the first trailer was what, like early part of 2015, something like that. 2014, maybe it was the first trailer of
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So we're talking 8 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's wild.
So I mean, the prequel generation, it's their moment now. We also, I mean, remember this? They like 2 years ago they did like the Phantom Menace 20th anniversary figures in the retro packaging.
Oh, okay.
Like the from the 1999 figures. And I'm like, yeah, like for them that's retro.
Yeah, right.
And so to me that's just the cool part. But Ewan McGregor is like if there's a Venn diagram of Star Wars fandom, it feels like he's like right there in the middle.
Yep.
Right? Like, unless you're just a goddamn communist or something, you don't love. Of course, you love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
So this does feel like the sweet spot, but I think going back to what you were saying earlier, those expectations may work against it because people are going to be coming in with all kinds of like what they want to see from this.
Yeah, and that's. Known, it's on the record that they had a season kind of worked out and then it was vetoed and they started over. So, you can only take certain stories with a grain of salt. I think Hollywood Reporter had something, right, this past week.
Yeah, quite in depth, actually. Yeah.
And I think Lucasfilm was sort of like, it's not quite right, kind of a thing. But I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle. But I think what is on record was that Kathleen Kennedy said, nah, go bigger. Like you can go bigger with this, right?
Yeah, and supposedly that came just as much from Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Who apparently, like, there was sort of a lone wolf and cub aspect to the original pitch,
which kind of makes sense if there was ever to be that tale in the Star Wars universe, right? With Obi-Wan watching Luke grow.
That's right. However, it felt sort of like an echo of Mando and Grogu,
right?
And so rather than saying, well, it's like poetry and repeats itself, they said, no, do something different.
Right.
And so this is, and apparently Darth Maul was going to be positioned as the big bad.
Right.
That got vetoed in favor of Darth Vader.
Right.
But here's one thing I know. If if you ever wanted to re-explore Tatooine, well, boy, we sure seen a lot of Tatooine, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with Tatooine.
You know, I think there can be like an intellectual side of me that can be done with Tatooine, but there's also like the heart, like the, inside of me that is just like, that's the locale I know and love, and so many interesting things have happened there, and seeing it perks me up, I suppose.
I mean, it's there's like 3 places on Tatooine, and it's like we keep going back to those same 3 places.
You know what though? Actually, let me even be more specific. I think seeing young Luke on Tatooine is interesting to me. Right.
Yes.
And
in that house,
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this when Rise of Skywalker came up, but I find it funny that Rey goes back to that house, which is just probably nothing but bad memories for Luke and Anakin.
Right.
She's like, let me honor them by putting. It's like, no, that's where like he wanted to get away. He found like the horrible burnt remains of his family.
Right.
Like it's just all bad.
Right.
And let me just throw Leia's saber into the hole too, because what the hell? She has no connection to this place at all.
Right.
But we're in the audience, we're like, oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, like I know this. Yeah.
So I'm always optimistic. I always go in with the best hopes.
Me too.
And how we get like I don't think we even hear. We hear him speaking, but we don't see him speaking in this trailer.
Who, Obi-Wan?
Yeah. Like we hear his voiceover.
Right.
But there's like the one shot full on of his face at the very end.
Oh, really? Huh. I watched it. I watched it a couple times, like 2 weeks ago or something. But
like we see him, we see his face. I mean, he's got the cloak on, but at the very end of the trailer, there's like a full on shot of his face. And you're like, well, I'll be damned. Like,
yeah.
Here we are.
I think you and I were saying that moment with him with the binoculars has already been sort of memed.
I know.
It's been really funny.
So this premieres May 25th, which is also the 45th anniversary of Star Wars.
Wow. Crazy.
So that's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Let's take another short break, and then we can talk through this little indie movie that's out in theaters right now. seems to be doing okay, and we can give our reactions to that. And we are back, and hey, Brian, you know who else is back?
Who's that?
It's Batman, or as he's referred to in 2022, the Batman.
The Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman.
We respect definite articles in this dojo.
Yeah, right.
Not to be confused, there was an animated series in 2004 also called The Batman.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
which was good in my opinion.
Yeah.
It had the misfortune of being the first animated Batman after the other animated Batman.
Right.
The animated Batman,
right? Which you just recently did a write up on, which was fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that was fun. That was for the paper. Yeah, and that was quite good. This is not that though. This is doing its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is Matt Reeves, he of the latter 2 Planet of the Apes films, being like, no, I'm gonna make my movie. No universe, no Batfleck.
Yep.
And he did his thing, and the movie is cleaning up. Luckily, this worked out for us because normally when we record the show, we try to get out our comments in a prompt fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we had to push this a little bit. But the movie has been number 1.
Yeah.
Every weekend since it opened, so it kind of we're still timely.
Yeah. No, it's still like you said, it's still the number 1 movie probably in the world. So
I mean, looking at the box office, it has made $274 million domestically,
wow.
Another almost 250 internationally. So it's at about 521 million worldwide.
Wow.
After 3 weeks. So I could easily see this thing hitting about 800, I think, when else.
I think so, yeah.
And I mean, the budget is, what is it, like 175, I think?
Wow. It's we talk about this, but this sort of like pandemic era, theatrical thing, like, man, it is either skyrocket box office or it is just like piddling, right? It's just there's just no in between.
The great sorting, which had already started pre-pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
has sort of solidified at this point.
Yeah.
Where if people are going to go, they want an experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, to that point, like the Adam Project, that would easily have been a theatrical movie.
Oh yeah.
And it would have been like a mid-level performer. It probably would have done fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the Batman, I think what makes it remarkable how well it's performing is that it is 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's playing with sort of a hand tied behind its back in that they are getting less screenings in per screen.
Yeah.
And so people are making that choice to go out and spend 3 hours really experiencing this. And that, I think, says something about the appeal of the character, if nothing else. But I don't think you remain number one for 3 weeks unless the film itself is speaking to people.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very anxious to hear your thoughts.
Well, when this trailer first dropped, it's on record. Okay, no, even going back further in early or mid 2020, remember they dropped, it wasn't like a sizzle reel, but the movie was still deep in production, but they released kind of like a cut scene of Batman just wailing on a guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. Like it looks really grim. And then they put out the first trailer and I was like, look, I love Batman. I know this looks cool, but it looks pretty grim. Like I hope I'm going to enjoy this. And so, but as we've been approaching, I've been getting more and more excited because I just want a new Batman story. But I was a little worried. I like David Fincher. I like that aesthetic. I like sort of the grimy. Or actually, that's not true. Some of the like the grosser stuff from like Fight Club or Seven, for example, which I think is great, but I'll never watch again probably.
Totally. Yeah.
I was thinking that was going to sort of be what this movie is, and to some degree, it is. But I'm happy to say that like I loved it. I really loved it. I think
this genuinely, by the way, I had no idea where you landed on this. So that's a genuine surprise.
You know what I think it is? I think for me is we've sort of through this podcast, I've come to realize it's so easy to get really hard on a Batman, especially a film when it's the new one. Because you're always like, well, this now is Batman, and how do I feel about that? But I've lived long enough to see so many different Batmans that I'm like, this is the crazy, stylized, gothic Burton Batman. This is the campy, goofy Schumacher Batman, which is one of my lesser favorites, but I have grown to appreciate it over time for being that Batman. And then you've got the Nolan, which I would have said the grounded Batman, but now I think we've got the grounded Batman.
This is the undergrounded Batman.
Yeah, he's like the grounded, slightly sci-fi Batman, I suppose. And then now you've got like Seven grim, grounded Batman. And is this my favorite take on Batman? I think Nolan might still be my favorite take on Batman.
Yeah.
But do I appreciate this take on Batman? I do, actually. I thought it was really well done, and I have thoughts on it for sure. But I was like, that was a really, really good take. I thought it was a really interesting story. I thought Riddler was a really interesting interpretation. Unlike most superhero movies, I loved the third act. You know?
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah.
I thought that might have been my favorite act in the movie. There's things I want to get into, but I'll as a teaser, in the third act, I think one of my top 5 Batman cinematic moments ever happens in the third act.
Wow.
And so it's so long that it does, in the beginning, I'm like, how do I feel about this movie? Which is one of my greatest sins. Sometimes I'll start judging a movie halfway through because I'm like, how am I feeling about this? But I have learned to go, Brian, it's not over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to form an opinion now when it's not finished doing what it's doing? And I feel like halfway through, I was like, there's a lot I appreciate about this, but I don't know how I feel about it as a whole film. And then by the end, I was like, that was a solid take. That was a really solid take. And so again, I think Nolan is still sort of my Batman ethos that I connect with the most.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should say aesthetic or tone or whatever you want to call it. Or even just the filmmaking and whatnot. But I really respected this version a lot. And yeah, I liked it. You?
All right. Well, thanks,
You?
everybody. Hope that was worth the wait.
I'm so curious.
I liked it when I saw it. I really I appreciated a lot about it. And so I was already a thumbs up. And then I had my second viewing, and I went with my older boys. And it was really after my second viewing, I was like, man, this is so good.
Oh, dude, you had me nervous. I was like, oh no,
man.
Yeah.
No, it cemented everything that I liked about it. And there was, in terms of things that, like, I don't have any major critiques at all, really. I think everything works. And so it's not one of those things where I'm sort of squinting past major problems. Again, to your point, like, that's exactly it, what you said. Like, at this point, we have so many different interpretations that you just say, well, this is this interpretation.
I think that helps a lot, honestly, for me.
It really, yeah. And I think there are few characters better suited to that ability to do that than Batman.
Yeah.
Because it's a spectrum that includes Adam West here and, Pattinson and Christian Bale over there. And you say, well, it's all Batman. So we have to be able to encompass all of that, right?
Yeah.
Batman encompasses multitudes. So one thing I will say, I've said this before, Gotham is just like the worst place on earth, and why on earth would anyone want to live there?
I know. There's like even a line, I don't think it's a spoilery, but Selena Kyle is like, this place sucks. Like this place isn't going to get any better. Why would you stay? Right? And I was like, she might be right.
But I do love the sort of Blade Runner inspired aesthetic, which is different. We've never seen that in a Batman movie.
Yeah. Well, I think Begins
nudges up against it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say that it resembles Blade Runner, but it clearly had it in mind.
There's an inspiration there, but here, like, just the rain soaked and the the neon, and it's a much more overt visual nod.
Yeah, this is I think the Batman with the least amount of color.
Yes,
which is kind of interesting, and that's saying a lot from Batman Returns.
Yeah, right. I think Pattinson, who as soon as Matt Reeves said he was a guy, I was like, all right, I trust Matt Reeves, and I think he's great.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think a critique is that his Bruce Wayne does not have a lot of color to it, but I think that's kind of the point of the film, is that it's about Batman discovering that he needs to be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And so who he is at the end of the movie is a different place from where he is from the other point, right?
Yep.
Like,
which I enjoyed, and it's hard to watch at the beginning because he's so brooding, and which makes sense, but it can also feel a little relentless sometimes in terms of just like a character.
Yes.
But I did by the end appreciate the arc at play.
Well, and to that point, like it says something about how well we know these characters. The world knows Batman and his world, right? And we know who Alfred is. We know who Jim Gordon is. Like, we can just drop into year 2.
Yes.
And we catch it on, right? Like, it tells you something based on the number of people going to see this, that they're not like, well, how did he become Batman? Because
right.
But I think what works for me is, like, in the early part of the movie, Bruce is being kind of a dick to Alfred. And I don't know about you, but I'm like, I don't like that. Like, that makes me feel bad.
Yep.
Because I love Alfred.
Yep. I felt the same way. I didn't like it.
Yeah. And yet that's the journey we're on in this.
Yep.
And so that was rewarding to me.
Agreed. I like year 2 Batman. Like, we always see him either really advanced, or we see him, Batman Begins, which I love, but this is kind of cool. Like, early goings Batman,
I like that, in the very first scene, which involves Batman being, at this murder scene. He's like, we just see him observing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just, I mean, I don't think we've ever had as much of a focus on Batman's eye movements.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Because we just get these shots of him and his eyes just going from this point to that point, and and he's just Batmaning,
Yeah. I think before I forget, in that same scene, I think this is one of the best interpretations I've seen of Batman's relationship to the police.
Yes.
Which I loved. I loved his, him and Gordon, and kind of, Gordon, like, come on, I don't think they're too happy with you right now, and like the police do not like him, and he's just, but like, hey man, I got a job to do, kind of a thing. And
how good is Jeffrey Wright in this, by the way?
Dude, I love Jeffrey Wright.
He's just good in everything, but he's such a good Gordon.
Perfect Gordon.
He's so good.
Perfect Gordon. Their relationship is great. Yeah. And I just want to say too, before I forget, you're reminding me of the very beginning. I haven't actually, because I've been trying to stay away from it, I haven't seen a ton of things written about this or memes or whatever is out there. I had heard that there is sort of, it's a Batman who journals, kind of a thing. And I got to say, I actually really loved it. I loved his opening narration. And when he's talking about like, I am the shadows, right? And there's just sort of this opening thing with the bat signal in the sky, and people who are doing bad things all of a sudden see the signal and then look at a shadow and have no idea if he's in it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives them pause. And I was like, this might be like some of my favorite Batman stuff ever. Like this point of view from the criminals of how he makes them feel. Like I really loved that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like when we watched Scream earlier this year, right? There's a thing where they keep faking you out, like, oh, that's where Ghostface is. That's where Ghost. Oh,
yes.
It's a bit like that with Batman, where they show like several scenarios where he might emerge.
Right.
And then he finally does. You're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie for the villains.
Yeah. Right. And I think that it's very funny. I talked to Paul Shirey. I was on there with Chris Bumbray. I was on The Beard and the Bald.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Yeah, actually, that's what it was. Because you weren't around, so I kind of drunk dialed Paul. Hey, can I talk about the Batman with you?
Where's Brian? He left.
He's not around anymore. You want to do this or what?
Yeah. Come over.
So I was actually on their show, but I made the comment about like, this is Batman always has the black eye makeup around the eyes.
Yes.
But this is the first time where like in film, he has the black eye makeup. You know what I mean?
He applies it.
And I was thinking that's kind of funny to me. Like, does he do that like before he becomes Batman? Oh wait, hold on. Let me get my eye makeup on here. Oops, let me get my contact lenses. Like this is the thing, because Paul had this critique that he has these magic contact lenses where he just looks at you and it like does a beep boop boop boop, boop and it tells you who the person is. And Paul's like, that's some bullshit right there.
Really?
And I was like, and I was like, you know what? Honestly, if the movie creates that reality, I'll go with it.
You know what? That's typically my answer to everything. Frankly, if the movie makes me buy it, then I'm like, well, that's the world where I'm watching. But I gotta say,
but here's the thing, though. I buy that, but I find it hard to believe that Batman's. Oh, hold on, let me get my card. Like somebody's like, help me! Wait, hold on, let me just like that.
If he's in a hurry, it's like one is blacked out and one is sort of not, and his shirt is half
and one
untucked
pops out because he didn't put it in the right way.
Right, right. No, it's funny, the contacts thing. I was telling Federica last night, I feel like 10 years ago I would have been like, okay, suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
But actually I was like, the world we're living in and Google Glasses and the whole Facebook Ray-Bans and all that stuff, I was like, I kind of buy that like day after tomorrow-ness of it. Like that feels...
I agree,
Yeah.
I think we sort of accept that Batman has gadgets.
Yeah, that feel slightly ahead of what we know. And frankly, we have things kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. And I liked we were talking, Federica and I, like we liked that they weren't perfect either. You know what I mean? Like they didn't.
Mhm.
It wasn't like when you saw the point of view from the lenses, it looked like 235 cinema. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they were
Yeah.
kind of obscured and oval, and there's a frequency that didn't always work. And I was like, I kind of like this. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
The bat pewter sort of ness of it. Like that's the 21st century bat tech.
Well, and to that point, I also like that in the absence of a Lucius Fox, per the Nolan trilogy, this is he's doing this stuff on his own. you know?
Yeah.
He's figuring it out. He's the Batmobile, which has been previously described as a muscle car, you believe that it's something that he put together in his garage.
Yeah.
I love the dinosaur roar that engine makes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that made me think of isn't it Jaws where they say, one of the trivia things is when it gets killed or something, it's like a lion roaring or something.
Yeah,
I thought that as it roared last night, I was like, ooh, what animal did they add there? That was cool.
Yeah, it's and Matt Reeves said it's inspired by Christine.
Oh, interesting.
The Stephen King,
Yeah.
that car chase, by the way, was fantastic.
I can't wait to watch it. I kept thinking I may see it in the theater one more time, but like I know it's coming to HBO pretty quickly.
Yeah, in a couple weeks. Yeah.
I was thinking like I cannot wait to watch that car chase again. I had my feelings shifted while I was watching it because I was like, something's weird about this. Like it's cool, but there's something weird. And then I realized like, oh, there's no wide shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all like cameras attached to the car. And I almost wanted something a little different, but then I was like, no, wait, I feel like I'm in this chase. Like it's confusing. Like there's a truck in the way. I'm like, this is what he's experiencing. Like we're really kind of seeing this pursuit from his point of view.
Yeah.
And it made it feel almost a little more dangerous. Like it wasn't like the danger was just normal traffic and trying to chase this crazy guy through normal traffic. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and we've had plenty of Batmobile chases.
Yes.
This is certainly the most visceral
Yes.
we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, in the '89 movie, there's the thing with the Jokers, after the museum.
Yes.
Where the Batmobile's just going in a circle.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, and it's
once you know that, you can't not see it.
You can't get it out of your head. I mean, the coolness of the car covers a multitude of sins for me, but like you're 100% correct. It's just going around in a circle, basically.
They had like a half a mile to play with,
Yeah.
So there's that, and then obviously there's the Tumblr scene in Begins.
Yes.
So we have like. And there's the other ones, but really, let's just focus on these three. Yeah. Three very distinct aesthetics of pulling off a Batmobile sequence. And again, going back to what I was saying before, like it just shows how much range the audience has in accepting what does a Batmobile look like. Mm-hmm. Right? You've got the Anton first one over there, you got the Tumbler over there, and you've got the muscle car over here.
Yeah,
and all three are the Batmobile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think. With time and all of these movies available, like we were saying, I mean, it allows you to be like, oh, okay, well, I know that one previously, but that's this one for now. And there'll probably be another one in 8 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that this is the most time we've ever spent with Batman as Batman.
Yeah.
In any movie.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, I mean, we see a lot of him in. It's not like him sort of, he becomes Batman just for the action sequences. There's a lot of his detecting. His detective work is in the Batman costume. There's a lot of interaction with him and Gordon and him and the police. And
I love the thing when they go into the mayor's car and the thing with the thumb drive and whatever.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's gruesome.
Yeah.
But like it just again that process of just investigating. Which, I mean, we've gotten snippets of Batman as a detective, but this is a full-on detective story, which we have not gotten to this extent.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think about Riddler as a villain? I mean, did he feel distinctive enough and sort of like a new worthy take on this villain?
Yeah, well, going back to the spectrum, I mean, we had Jim Carrey previously.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Brian, but I can't sanction his buffoonery. And so we don't see Paul Dano screaming joygasm, and the world is poorer for it.
I know.
I just read, by the way, that Paul Dano is writing a Riddler miniseries.
I heard
for
about that.
DC,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think what's funny is, I don't know if you remember this, but when the third Dark Knight movie was still forthcoming, there was that, they should do Riddler and he should be like something out of Seven. Remember that?
Oh, no.
Like, there was a lot of that.
Sure.
And so this very much did that.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And I would say, well, that's probably the best way to do the Riddler. Like,
Certainly, if he's not going to be twirling a cane, and yeah,
like, right, like Jim Carrey, and Frank Gorshin pretty much nailed down that.
yes,
And there's no real way to compete with that.
and also to differentiate between the Joker,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
like Zodiac Killer makes a lot of sense.
yeah, and so what I liked was that he's not a physical threat at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet they make him terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I think that interrogation scene is up there with the Joker interrogation scene for me.
Yeah.
And I love that. Well, you know what? Let's talk spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's talk freely.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Spoiler.
So the big twist is that, the Riddler, at every one of these crime scenes, he's leaving a note for the Batman, and he think, oh, this is him like taunting Batman.
Yeah.
But it's him leaving helpful suggestions for who he thinks is his partner.
Yep. He thinks they're working together.
I was like, that is so good.
Yeah. That was good.
It just totally worked. And the scene in that interrogation worked because how sort of claustrophobic it feels,
Mhm.
and unlike in The Dark Knight, where he hits a point where he's just wailing on the Joker, right? He
Mhm.
doesn't have the ability to do that here. So you see the sort of the frustration coupled with the helplessness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pounding
with
on the
Batman.
window.
Yeah, and just the way Dano plays it.
Mm-hmm.
He found this really creepy gear. Paul Dano is really good at playing like really creepy weirdos, right?
Yeah. It makes me think. Well, Prisoners, and then what was the other one?
There's
There Will Be
always the
Blood.
scene
Where he's getting
Paul
wailed
Dano
on.
is
Yeah, I remember Prisoners was probably one of the most disturbing. Someone getting pounded on him, like, just, oh man, it's just like I think you already broke his head. Like, just let's just stop for your own soul.
So I like that. The capture of the Riddler is what sets up what you said is a great third act.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it visually gave us something we've never seen in a Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it culminated in an ending that I really liked, which was sort of the realization that vengeance is not enough.
Yes.
The fact that, and look, I mean, the Riddler, I mean, he's basically like an alt-right, like one of these incel types, right?
Yeah. Which was kind of hard to watch a little bit. I mean, seeing these kids do something that could happen to some degree, like just getting bullets and guns and just shooting at people. Like, there's something that touched on the real world a little bit that was like a little like it made your skin crawl a little bit. Although I thought it was good. You know what I mean? But it did touch on reality a little bit that was like kind of unnerving.
What's funny is I saw people online being like, because you can see his social media.
Yes.
He's like, hey, smash that like button or whatever he says. And you have like his followers, right? And people are like, oh, he only has like 500 followers. That's not that much, right? And I was talking to my brother about this. I was like, this is how the internet has screwed up reality, right? Right?
Wait, what do you mean?
Because I'll tell you what, because in internet terms, or like Twitter, 500 followers is probably not that much.
Mm-hmm.
But like in real life, that's an army.
Right, right.
right? So like like he has 500 people who are armed and ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
Yes, yes. That's funny you
You
say
know?
that, because actually the number 500 did bump me in the movie. I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, right.
But you're totally right. Yeah, 500 armed people is scary. Yeah,
That's, you know,
yeah.
I think the way in which we end up, which by the way, so the levees break,
Yes.
and Gotham is being flooded, and the city's like, hey, take shelter in this stadium where a big chunk of it looks like it's underground.
Right. Right.
I was like, I don't know, guys. Maybe Gotham should just be flooded, because
Right.
it seems like no one's making good decisions.
Right.
The mayor, she's like, let me go out there. I'm like, no, don't
Yeah, I
don't
know.
do that.
I know.
Right.
But so it's funny because the movie's so long. When we get to the Falcone stuff, I actually was like, oh yeah, it's kind of the ending. And then I was like, oh wait, no, the Riddler.
Right.
And then there's him in the cafe, and I was like, oh yeah, like we didn't really get a big action set piece. Like we haven't had our ending set piece. And I was kind of wondering what it would look like in this movie, because this movie doesn't feel like that movie, because usually Batman, regardless of how real it is, there's something huge that happens, right?
Yeah.
And I thought this was for this universe. I was like, this totally feels like it fits, and it feels very real world, but also big and epic. And I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do. And like I say, I mean, it was really scary. All those like shooters up at the top of the stadium, and then Batman taking him out was making me like, shift in my seat, because I was like, yeah, get him, kind of a thing.
Right.
And then what I alluded to earlier, saying my favorite moment was when that electrical cable, is flailing and going to hurt everybody, and he just leaps and cuts it, because that's what he does. You know what I mean? Like he helps. But like you said, it starts with him just being angry. He's just vengeance, and he's, the person he saves at the beginning of the movie is scared of him.
Yeah.
And then him being in the water and activating the flare, and then holding out his hand.
Isn't that great?
To the people in the shadows. And he pulls them out of the shadows. Like, and now, I was like, I almost like teared up. I was like, that's, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the Batman. And he's becoming Batman, like he's still learning what it all encompasses, and he's becoming a freaking hero. Like, I loved that moment. I got emotional during that moment.
And I love that it's seeing the Riddler's, imitator calling himself Vengeance. That sort of snaps him out of what he's been in.
Yes.
Right. And that guy, by the way, I don't know if you recognize him. It's the guy from the funeral scene.
I didn't totally recognize him, but I assumed it was him.
Yeah, it's the guy who's like, don't I know you, when he sees Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
It's that guy. So it's like, if this is what he's inspiring,
yes,
then like there's a reason that the Riddler thought that they were doing the same thing. That he has to be more.
He has to be more than vengeance.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love that. They did the same thing in Batman Begins. That kids never have to be afraid of the Batman.
Yeah. Right.
They did the same thing with Joffrey. Remember?
Yep.
And
he's like, here's a grenade, and throws him like some of his tech. Yeah.
Here's a smoke bomb or whatever that was, right? Yeah, no, it absolutely, and actually, when I was talking to my brother absolutely loved it. He as soon as he saw it, he's like, I was like in class, he was calling me a few times, like, hey, I saw the Batman. Yeah, he wanted to, for like my hour drive, he was just talking to me about it. But he said something really interesting. He's like, I was worried that the film was going to desanctify Thomas Wayne, and I didn't want that. And he said, and I was glad that it didn't.
Yeah, me too, actually. I played a video game where that kind of happens, and the whole Wayne legacy is sort of turned on its head, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it. And so in this movie, when that happened, I was like, it doesn't make me feel good. Yeah. And just what that must do. I'm worried about Bruce, what that's going to do to him. And I thought they handled that idea, and then what it really, when you step back a few steps further, and what it really all meant, and it was really kind of messier than you first assumed.
Yeah, well, and I love how Alfred says it. Like he was a good man who did a bad thing.
Yes.
right? And like, in other words, like, the idea that everyone's capable of mistakes, right? But it's
Mhm.
what you do. The fact that him trying to rectify that mistake could very well have been what led to him getting killed,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And that all
And
worked.
also having him and Falcone sort of tied. It wasn't like he reached out to this person he had absolutely no
Hmm.
connection with. Like they did kind of have weirdly sort of an intimate connection
Yeah,
through the experience of the surgery, you know?
that's right. That, by the way, that's right out of The Long Halloween.
Right. Right.
That specific thing. Oh, by the way, so Peter Sarsgaard, who plays the DA,
Yeah.
Gotham always in need of a new DA. Conveniently, in the first movie.
Right. Right.
Um, Gil Colson, by the way, which I found was, I was like, is that a play on Phil Colson?
Oh.
I mean, it's probably not.
Right, right, right. That's funny though.
But I do find it funny that he's married to Maggie Gyllenhaal, of course, right?
Oh, that's
So
right.
both husband and wife have been blown up in a Batman movie.
Right, right. That was an intense scene, wasn't it?
It was so well done.
So good, yeah.
That's another thing. You know, I said this to you before about the Dark Knight films, where when we see Batman in daylight, I find it jarring.
Yes.
We see Batman in daylight in this, and I did not find it jarring.
Yeah, I like the aesthetic of the suit. I mean, it's funny in Dark Knight, you know, like those imitators are like, well, what's the difference between me and you? And he's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
But in this, he kind of is. Like he,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
he actually has shoulder pads on and whatnot. And
Yeah.
it kind of works. Like it looks like a suit he built.
It's a very cool. You know, the design of the suit. I don't know if you've read Zero Year.
I don't know if I have.
That's a Batman story from about 10 years ago,
Okay.
which is like kind of the new updated origin.
Okay.
But if you look at it's a great story. It's by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. But the design of Batman's suit in that looks very, very similar to what they did here.
Yeah.
Even kind of thrown together, you know?
Yeah, you can see the stitching on the cowl.
Yeah.
Like he made it. Yeah.
Like 2 days, by the way, after the movie came out, they opened up the Hot Toys for pre-order.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting that.
This is happening.
It's out of my hands.
It's out of my hands.
This is happening. you
Yeah,
know?
right.
But going back to what we were saying about Alfred, we don't get very much of Alfred, but I like what we get of him.
Mm-hmm.
You've read Year One, or sorry, you've read not Year One, Earth One.
Yes.
This is that Alfred,
Totally. Yeah.
right? He's got the cane.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the military background and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really like that the movie kind of takes you on a journey, because you feel kind of irked at how standoffish Bruce is with him,
Mm-hmm.
but it still allows for I think that genuine moment. He's like, look, I don't, what I felt when I thought you were in danger was what I felt when my parents died. You know. And we, they're holding hands. Like this is a kinship that can't be broken. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, we start with there is no billionaire playboy iteration of Bruce Wayne in this. Like he doesn't
Right.
go out in public and wear this mask. Like he is living in trauma. And
I love that related to that. I love where when he comes out in the day and he has to put on sunglasses in the house.
yeah, yeah.
It's that little thing.
Yeah, but that's year 2 Batman. Like he's
Yeah.
still kind of in this dark place, and I've got to imagine in the sequels he will be a little different, and his
Yeah.
Alfred may be a bit more involved, and they'll have a different relationship. And I can appreciate the long game with that. You know,
I
not
love
having to
the
accomplish
fake out,
it all
by
here.
the way. When Alfred opens the bomb,
Yes.
and they're like, no, it already happened. It happened an hour ago.
Yeah, and then a firefighter like runs across the screen. I was like,
Right?
oh, that was good.
That was good.
Yeah,
I was literally like, are they going to kill off Alfred?
me too. I thought they
Right?
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear that there's a Wayne Manor. It's Wayne Tower in the middle of the city.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, you see it smoking from the top of the thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The question my brother had was whether the reporter who died, whether that was the Riddler's father,
Oh.
which I suppose you could make that connection, right? I mean,
Yeah, that didn't occur to me.
But certainly the name of the reporter is Elliot, and that's a reference to Thomas Elliot, who is Hush, the character Hush, which that story involves the Riddler.
Right. That's a long time ago I read that.
Yeah, I've been revisiting a lot of these things just in the lead up to this.
Yeah, I bought Year One just the other day just to reread
nice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, Year One, Long Halloween, and Hush, I think, are the biggest influences on this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other ones. There was another one. I think Ego.
I haven't read
Matt
that.
Reeves. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Check that. Yeah, I really appreciated what Matt Reeves did. I appreciate that he, because Warner Brothers came to him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, thanks. I don't want to make a universe movie."
Right. Yeah.
And like or dislike, because I know people online are upset that we never got the Ben Affleck version.
Which I understand. I'm curious.
I would have loved to see it,
Yep.
but if Batman was something he very much no longer wanted to do.
Right.
Ben Affleck said, "I would have drunk myself to death, and I'd rather he not do that."
Yeah, agreed.
So that's fine. We didn't get that, but I love that Reeves stood his ground, and the studio was like, "Fine, make the movie you want to make," and he did.
And I really, really loved the visuals of this movie. I mean, this is something I don't feel like every movie needs to look like this. I mean, look at the Beyond the Infinite 2 minutes. Like I said, it's an iPhone movie, and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But I just with the movies I was weaned on, I like movies that don't just point a camera, but actually compose an image.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I mean, the focus in this movie, like the intentional lenses that he's using. I mean, it's all considered, and I thought it was all really beautiful and made for a really compelling visual experience.
Yeah.
Right.
So we haven't talked about John Turturro or Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, dude, Colin Farrell. It's funny. I had heard some people be like, "Oh, he's only in it for like a glorified cameo." And I was like, I didn't feel that way. I mean, he's not the main villain, but I thought he was peppered in enough that he felt like integral to the story, a part of the universe.
And first of all, he disappears.
Yeah.
Into this character.
Oh, he is so good.
Like I could not see Colin Farrell.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, he was someone else. He was completely someone else, and I was like, "That's a really interesting take on the Penguin. I really like it."
And that's the other thing. Yeah, kind of the same with Jim Carrey. Don't you love that the Penguin can encompass Burgess Meredith and Danny DeVito and this?
Yep.
And you still say, "Oh, it's
totally.
Penguin, though."
Right? Yep.
And they're doing a show on HBO Max, the Penguin Show.
Yeah, which will be kind of interesting. I wonder how you...
It's going to be a talk show with Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Interviewing guests. The Penguin Show.
My first guest, Charo.
I would watch that show.
Yeah, I probably would too.
No, but it's like his rise to power, right?
So it'll sort of be post this.
It'll be post this, now that there's no crime boss in Gotham anymore.
Interesting.
To set up wherever the character would be in the next film.
Before I saw this film, I was thinking, why would Colin Farrell want to do that if he has to do all his makeup all day? And now after watching what he gets to do, just be entirely someone else, I was like, oh, no wonder he wants to do that.
Well, one thing I've said about Colin Farrell, especially in the last decade or so, is he was always a character actor who just happened to look like a leading man.
Yep.
And yet the character parts are always where he's had the most fun.
Right.
So you definitely see that here. Yeah, I mean the totality of the disguise lets him just completely evaporate into this character.
Yeah.
That thing where he's like the La Rata thing.
Right. El La, what's the matter with you?
I'm the only one who speaks Spanish.
Yeah. That's good. You know what else I like? Just a minor little detail was the twins at the door.
Yeah.
I was just like, they were just kind of a funny little. They added a little extra something to the front door of that club. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. And then Zoe Kravitz, as he said.
Yeah. I love this take on Catwoman. I mean, she's literally just someone in a tight suit with like a ski mask on, but she still feels like Catwoman, right? Like she doesn't. It's like they didn't try to strip so much away of it. Like embarrassed of the fact that she's sort of quote unquote the Catwoman, right? Like it felt like this perfect real world interpretation of Catwoman.
Yeah.
What did you think
there's
of their
the one.
relationship?
Well,
Oh, yeah,
it's,
go.
well, two things. She has that one line where she's like, "Oh, cats have 9 lives," something like that. I'm like, "Well, you haven't earned that line yet because you're
Right.
not doing any cat stuff at the moment."
Yeah.
No, but I mean, great chemistry, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's so interesting because for me, my de facto Bruce Selina relationship, and I'm sure it is for you, is Batman Returns,
Yeah, totally.
right? And so every version I sort of compare it with that, and I felt more of a connection between these two versions of the characters than in The Dark Knight Rises, for example.
Agreed. Although I mean, I don't. I know sometimes when a new movie comes out, then it's like immediately previous ones get discounted. You know, like with
Yeah, I wouldn't
Nolan,
say
they're
that.
like 89 Batman is dead. I'm like, no, it isn't. Like
Yeah, right.
it is what it is, and this is what it is. And like, you know, that Catwoman's fine in that iteration, but like, yeah, I
In
liked,
Rises.
yeah, in Rises, and
Yeah.
but I really liked what she was in this.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the final shot of the film is not some triumphant bat signal in the sky thing.
Mhm.
It's Bruce looking in his rearview
Yes,
mirror, watching the life he could have leaving.
yes, yes.
Right?
You know, it's funny. As soon as they were on their bikes and they were sort of talking, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna watch him go one way and her go the other."
Yeah.
And even knowing that was gonna happen did not disappoint. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like you say, it was almost better that it wasn't like this cool helicopter shot of them going in two different directions. It was better. It was him looking in the rear view, watching her disappear.
Hmm.
So good.
So she will probably be back
Yeah.
in a more formed version of the Catwoman identity, and that's kind of the fun of it for me, is like we know there's going to be more.
Yeah.
Um, and what I hope is that Warner Brothers and Matt Reeves are not in a trilogy mindset,
Mm.
because this is a world I want to see span like 5 or 6 movies.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sure, sure.
I don't think this needs to be a trilogy.
You know, you're making me think of something completely unrelated that now I can sort of feel like I can tie into this. You know, what I was feeling when it was over at first, when I was trying to process my thoughts, was this movie felt really heavy.
Hmm.
You know, there's not a lot of modulation. Like, it is really dour. And I think that's why I was like, you know, I still feel like Nolan is my tone, my speed, because
I agree.
there's a little more, it breathes a little bit more, you know, and it feels, even to some degree, some of the characters feel a bit more even sort of human, where there's a little lightness in this moment, but then there's really sadness in this moment. There's a bit more modulation, I feel like,
Yeah.
real life modulation going on in the Nolan films,
Yeah.
whereas this one is like a mood. But that didn't prevent me from liking it. And that's why I think like I say, I'd probably lean a little bit aesthetically toward those. But when you talk about now a third film, fourth film, fifth, like, just seeing the arc, like, that's the mood Wayne was in this movie. Like, that's what he's living. And by the end, there was a little bit more helper. He became like sort of a helper. And I think if we keep going with these movies, the second one may feel entirely different than this one. Right. And so I'm kind of interested to see what each film then is, you know, like I appreciate the patience.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, I mean, that was my main critique of The Dark Knight Rises. I was like, why are you wrapping this world up when there's still so much you can do?
Right.
And I would assume that's at the forefront of Warner Brothers thinking as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep this open. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've had enough goes at this,
Mm-hmm.
where I would hope that they've recognized, like, okay, what's the sweet spot here? You know,
Mm-hmm.
Where with The Dark Knight, it was so beholden to this filmmaker's specific vision that when he said, all right, I want to close up shop,
Yeah.
they were like, fine. On the other hand, after Burton, they tried to keep going, and then that went in a direction they didn't want either.
Right.
So it's like, I don't have any firsthand knowledge of this, but certainly by virtue of the fact that they're doing the HBO Max show, apparently they're doing another show in this universe about Arkham Asylum.
Interesting.
So the idea is to build out specifically the Batman universe that's separate from the DC movie universe.
Right.
And I say, yeah, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's certainly no shortage of interesting stories to tell within this world, you know?
Right.
And to echo the point you were making earlier, let's vary the tone a little bit.
Yeah, I hope, like the characters, I hope there is, arcs and growth and changes in tone. And I mean, he's got some healing to do, but I hope he does, to some degree. I mean, Batman's always going to be somewhat tortured, but
Yeah, well, and I've said this before. Like, I think the world of Batman should be malleable enough to be able to encompass fanciful villains.
I had a thought when this was over, and I was like, are we ever going to be able to have lightness? It's
Yeah.
like they keep getting more and more and more grounded. And is that going to make it more difficult to try to have an iteration, like you say, that's a bit more fanciful?
I mean, like, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like, show me what you do with like a Mr. Freeze in this world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
curious how you.
Oh, in this world specifically, or eventually?
Yeah, like. Well, I mean, the boundaries are whatever the filmmakers say they are.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So expand the boundaries a little bit to be able to encompass something slightly fanciful.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't do whatever Arnold Schwarzenegger did.
Sure.
But what does the Mr. Freeze of the Batman look like?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious.
Yeah, same.
Or Clayface or whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? Like Batman is not just crime bosses and serial killers. There's other villains.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing too, where I get a little, I'm not sure what I want, because I remember when the 89 Batman came out, because I was 9 years old, there was like a lot of hubbub or whatnot about how violent it was. And I remember watching like a news story where they're like, I don't know how this movie isn't rated R. And which is comical now, because I don't know how this movie isn't rated R. You know what I mean? And so I can appreciate that, being a grown man, like, that's cool. Like, that this is R-rated Batman. But then I wonder if this is going to be Batman for the next 10 years. Is that a little bit of a bummer for younger audiences? You know what I mean? Like,
well, here's what I would say. I took my two older ones.
Yeah.
And I feel like 12 and up is probably fine.
Right.
That's just maybe I'm a bad parent.
No, but I can see that. I mean, because we've talked about this before. Like, I feel like T2, which I feel like is a lighter movie than this.
Yeah, right.
That's sort of, I think that's when I saw it, and that felt like kind of a sweet spot.
Yeah.
But it's like, I also am kind of into Batman being a little lighter sometimes, So, like I say, if this is the next decade of Batman, like, that's a really dark, a long time to be this grim.
But Brian, it's not, we know it's not the only Batman. Because we're gonna have Michael Keaton kicking around for a little while.
Well, see, you know what? And I'm down for that, actually.
Yeah,
I kind of like that, because I like that. Let's keep going with this, because this is worthy, and I want to keep going with this. But I also want to, like you say, I don't want to wait a decade to see something a little bit more fanciful too.
Yeah.
So I like that that's possible.
Yeah. So I'm curious what they do with it.
Yeah.
But the box office says that there will be more of it, and that's a good place to be. Robert Pattinson is so 100% down with the character, which is really cool. Nice to, like. I mean, it's sort of it's nice to see interviews with him where he's just like, man, I love playing. It's so much fun. Like he's so in interviews, he's the polar opposite of what he is in this movie.
Right.
He's just smiling constantly and just laughing and having fun.
Oh, that's fun. I haven't seen any of that stuff, but that's cool.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was watching, like, one of the Jimmys was interviewing Pattinson, and my 10-year-old, he's just watching him, right? And he's like, he looks like he'd be a good Bruce Wayne. I was like, yeah,
oh, really?
So. Yeah. But then he goes, when you think about it, there's never been a bad Bruce Wayne. And I'm like, all right, this guy, he gets it.
Yeah, I like that.
So, kids will get it too. That's my point,
Yeah.
Like, they got the Batman stuff for them too.
Yeah. I feel like, all right, there's two more things I want to talk about real quick.
Yes, do it.
Score. Awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
I've been listening to it like all the time.
I feel like I just learned that I'm saying Giacchino wrong, and I do not remember what it actually is. Now I feel kind of bad.
Really? Because that's how I say it.
I think that's how a lot of people say it, but I thought I read or heard somewhere that it was pronounced slightly differently, and I don't recall what
Uh-oh.
it is. However, Michael's score, I love it. I mean, he reminds me of someone we've said this, like, is influenced by John Williams in that he still uses horns.
All right, hold on, Brian.
Oh,
sorry.
you got it.
Yeah, it's Michael Giacchino.
Giacchino.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I know this? Because I just, as you were talking, I pulled up a 4-second video on YouTube, how to properly pronounce Giacchino from the man himself, Michael Giacchino. And it's just him saying, "Hi there, I'm Michael Giacchino."
Oh, perfect.
So there you go.
But I like he has melodies, and like big horns, getting you all pumped up, and it just feels, it's weird to say, but it feels sort of old school.
Yeah.
In a way that I think you can't argue against. It's effective.
You know what's kind of nuts is that right now Michael Giacchino is shaping the musical identities of like every major franchise, like Spider-Man and Batman and Star Trek.
Yeah,
and,
great score, Star Trek.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very distinct. You can see the Danny Elfman influence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, by the way, still, I think yet to be topped. I
agree. That to me is like that's the Batman theme.
Yep.
But I think of the influences, Elfman is the most pronounced, but he's doing something a little different, which I appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Joker's in this movie.
Oh yeah, Barry Keoghan, yeah, as Joker.
Yeah, which is they do what I assume is sort of like a Thanos kind of thing, where he's first teased. It's like, let's see, like kind of the side of his head. We'll build it out a little bit more later. Like
yeah, right.
Because I was thinking that, like, are they going to lock themselves into a Joker face, or are they like, well, we're going to tease him and then we'll think about it more later.
Now, what's interesting there is, by virtue of him being in Arkham already, that means that he has already encountered Batman.
Well, I didn't even think about it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and that was my thought having watched the film. But then I read an interview with Reeves where he said they actually had a scene where Batman would go to Arkham and it would be like a Hannibal Lecter type thing with the Joker.
Like for this story, he would have interacted with him? Oh,
in this, like, there was like a scene where it would be like, it's been a year since our last encounter or whatever, something like that. And they I don't know if they filmed it, but it was at some point it was in the planning.
Right.
I'm glad that's not in this.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm also glad that the Joker already exists as part of Batman's history.
Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting is Reeves said that we should not take that as a sequel setup. Because the idea is not like, oh, next time the Joker. It's more like, look, there's still a lot of problems in Gotham City. Like it's, and so that's my other thought is like, I think Barry Keoghan is a great choice to play the Joker.
Yeah.
But I don't really need to see the Joker right now. I'm kind of Jokered out.
I was gonna say, yeah, it almost feels inevitable to be the next one.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming. So is it
at some point
going to be the next one and then he's teased at the end, or is it like, let's just do this and like do him in the second one? Like, I don't know.
I'm like, I keep it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people are going to turn up because it's a Joker, but you have an opportunity to do something else, I don't know.
Yeah, but I did like that. I liked it ended with the two of them laughing in their cells, him and Riddler. Yeah. Very creepy.
Well, hey, we waited to have this conversation, but I think it was worth it.
Oh man, this is great. And I'm loving this because it's so fresh in my head, and I'm sorry you had to wait so long.
I'm like, what else is in this movie?
Yeah,
I think there was a Batman in it at some point.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see whatever happens next in this world. I'm excited to see the Penguin TV show. Me
too. By the way, sorry, when you were talking about you waiting, that the moment from Titanic sprung into my head where she's like, 80 years. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, it's sprung into my head because you sent me that GIF.
That's right. I was just sitting patiently. I was just waiting. Yeah. Okay. Soon. But we made it. I'm excited to see what else we'll be talking about. In about a month we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming out, so I'm looking forward to our conversation in late September about that movie.
Yep.
If history is our guide, based on how long we have to wait to talk about like the most high profile films.
That's funny. Wait, yeah, it was. Oh, I keep forgetting it was Spider-Man. I keep thinking it was The Matrix, but it was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was brutal. Can I just tell you?
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was brutal. It's funny because my brother has not seen that movie yet, as far as I know, and that's been a pain in the butt because he follows me on Twitter, or he reads my Twitter feed, and so I haven't been able to post any any memes or anything because I don't want to in any way ruin that movie for him. And at this point, I'm like, can you just watch it, please? This is becoming an inconvenience for me at this point.
Right. Well, it's streaming now, so
yeah, it just came out. It just came out on streaming.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brian, for making the time to talk, and thank you, everybody listening, for being patient for us. We hope this discussion was worth the wait.
Absolutely. I really, I want to pass that along too, because it was fun. I really loved all the people posting like GIFs and things like that on our Facebook page. And Federica, it was so funny because we were trying to see it, and she was just like, I just know everybody's like patiently waiting, and I just really want to try to make this happen. And she was so cool about it and like really trying to get us to go see it. And she was honestly thinking of the listeners. Like being a listener herself, she's like, I know I'd be thinking the same thing. And she was making such efforts to try to make it happen. And it was really sweet.
That's very kind. Well, obviously traveling and family, like life stuff takes precedence over this. Yeah. So it's totally understandable. Actually, real quick, I did want to mention a nice note we got from Jeffrey Meisner, who sent us a drawing.
Yes.
Of the Pooh Bear characters. We have Rabbit as Bane and Pooh as the Joker.
Yes.
And this sprang from a discussion that we had, and this is how things go on the show. We read a letter from Jeremy Lloyd who explained where the Joker was based on the novelization of The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that led to us being like, hey, it would be like if when Pooh Bear shows up at Rabbit's house, which is just how our brains work.
Right.
And it's like, oh, somebody should make a drawing of that. And then look at it, and it manifested.
And it looks so good. Maybe we'll post it on the Facebook page.
Let's put it on the Facebook page so people can see it. Yeah, that was great. But I just wanted to give a shout out. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
But we will be back. I'm so excited for this. I can't even begin to tell you. This coming week is the 50th anniversary of The Godfather, which is one of my very favorite movies of all time. And so buckle up. We're gonna be doing a full length commentary track for The Godfather.
Yep.
And I'm actually, I should say, I'm forcing Brian to do this.
We've talked about this for years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've talked about it, but you were saying like there's only one 50th anniversary of The Godfather. So if ever there was a time.
So I'm so excited to watch one of my favorite movies of all time, but more importantly, to watch it with Brian, which I've never done.
No. And I know you've told me that the commentaries are like a film school. And I bring that up because I mean, you've listened to the commentaries. You're sort of a student of this film. And this is a film I was telling you I've seen a handful of times and I like, but I'm definitely not as immersed in it. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing what all is up in your head.
No pressure.
No pressure. I mean, it'll be a discussion as well, but like I'm very much looking forward to talking about it with you.
Well, that is coming up in the next week, so listen for that. And then, of course, we'll be back soon with our next regular show. We'll find things to talk about, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But MovieFilm is back. We're ready to go, as far as I know. Unless I plan to travel, which I maybe.
Yeah, I hope so.
That'd be nice
if life allows. Yeah.
my wife is like, so when are you taking me to Paris? I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. See, you know what I'm going to say? You guys are doing the right thing. You're traveling now before you have kids.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I have 5 of these people, and it's not, the travel's not fun.
I can't even imagine, honestly. I mean, it was.
And a cross-Atlantic trip sounds like the opposite of a good time to me. Yeah.
It was the first time I've ever slept like overnight on a plane. It was a whole new thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
New horizons for Brian.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions or comments for us, please email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. If you're looking for me online, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. It's also my website, justadded.com. And of course, you can find my writing at the San Francisco Chronicle, where, as Brian mentioned, I have my piece looking back at 30 years of Batman the Animated Series and my full review of the movie X. And of course, I have some pieces also at IGN that are in the pipeline. What about you, Brian?
I am so proud to finally be able to share this, but Puppy Dog Pals, last episode that aired, so it is available on, I think, Disney Now, Disney Junior, Disney Channel. We did a Die Hard episode, and it is, honestly, writing it was a blast. And then getting to see what the animators did, the directors, everybody, all the hard work, the actors, seeing it all realized was one of my favorite moments I've ever had working on this show. It is so funny. We have the dogs in little, the tank tops and the, and like just slacks and like going through the vents. And yeah, we have a character named Bill Clay in it. I mean, I'm like really proud of it. So hilarious. Yeah. They're in a hotel high rise, and the owner, the guy who runs the place, his name is Al. My head canon is that Al Powell retired and started his own hotel. Like, it's all there. And I was hilarious. so thrilled getting to watch it.
And,
so that's,
and it has already aired. You said.
That is aired. Yep.
Oh, nice.
So I think it's called Puppy Cahier. So
that's awesome. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Only tangentially, just based on what you said, you talked about the tank tops, and I was like, remember when those were called wife beaters?
Dude, I don't know if you heard me pause trying to find another word.
I was thinking about it. I was like, isn't it weird how everyone just was like okay with that? Like,
I know it definitely like bumps me now. And I know some people, it's like, it's just a word now, like to describe a certain type of shirt. But when you really stop and think, you're like, that is really messed up.
Right. I mean, that's like some article of clothing. You're like, oh yeah, that's his bitch slapper.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And then when you really stop to think about it, you're like, how is that ever okay? But
right. Like everybody just, that's a wife beater.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah.
What a weird society we live in.
I know.
Anyway, that's my deep thought as we end this episode.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I was like, oh, we even see them in shirts, and like I had to, like, my brain had to skip ahead.
Well, I guess I was picking up whatever energy you were putting out there. So
yeah.
But that is it for episode 243. We hope you'll be back next time. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you.
Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.